Hello, hello Libra. Welcome to your February 2019 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Libra. And while I pull this oracle card, just go ahead, tune in. If there's anything that wants to come up today, just set your intention now. And today's reading is going to be way different than anything I've ever done on my channel before. So if you just got here, you're in for something way different. I have a whole bunch of decks in front of me. I don't know what I'm going to be using for each sign, so it's just going to be whatever deck is screaming your name is going to come up in this reading. Last thing that I want to mention is that we will be getting back to structured readings. This is going to be a completely unstructured spread. I'm pulling 10 cards, but I don't have an intention. It's just whatever wants to come up is going to come up. I needed a break from structured readings, so this is how we're going to do it. And let's get started. All right, first thing coming up with the truth bomb, thinking magic. What this is really highlighting is that the way you're thinking and what you're thinking can either be used for you or it can work against you. So it just depends on what it is that you're calling in. So this is pushing you to think a little bit bigger, think a little bit more in terms of what is possible. And that's really going to support you. So just make sure you're exercising that infinite possibility muscle, and that's going to be really helpful. Let's go ahead and see what is in store for you in February. First thing, 9 of Wands. All right, this is an interesting card because it's really about the energy that you have to move forward. I think there's a lot of action going on underneath where this person is standing and kind of how they're moving forward. And so it's like you're kind of on the edge of overwhelm. You're just kind of barely getting by without burning yourself out. So make sure you're keeping an eye on your energy levels and what it is that you're doing this month to either push yourself over or take good care of yourself. Page of Cups. Okay, so a lot of emotionally driven pursuits. Maybe you have important relationships that are really popping up for you this month and kind of becoming the focal point for you. Let's see what else we have. The Magician. What are you creating? This is pushing you to think in terms of what are you actively manifesting. And then we also have the Ace of Wands. Just so you know, I am going to be going over these in depth. I just want to get somewhat of a feel of what's going on. The Ace of Wands, great energy and initiation card. All of the things that you're kind of wanting to get moving on are in progress. Just remember that even if you're starting on something or you've already been working on something, it doesn't mean the manifestation stops or that you should throw all of that stuff out the window. You still need to keep this in mind because it's going to help you support the things that you are taking action on. And then we have Justice. This is your card, very diplomatic of you. Keeping everything even-keeled is going to be important. And then we have the 9 of Cups, beautiful, make a wish. What are you asking for at this time? This is the wishes fulfilled card, so a lot of good things coming your way. We also have the 7 of Wands. Okay, let me stop here. Now, up to this point, this reading is really showing that, one, relationships are going to be big with the Page of Cups and the 9 of Cups and the Ace of Wands. It seems like connection is key here. Now, there's going to be some things that really support you and some things that almost, they can kind of derail you or destabilize you. And that's what you're keeping in balance here. So just noticing what kind of knocks you off center and makes you feel like you need to kind of dig your heels in a little bit more, because that's going to be a necessary tool for you, is setting boundaries or reminding yourself that you don't have to say yes to everything, or if that's something you struggle with. The Justice card, it seems like these are really playing with each other in this reading. But it's, I think you're like barely gonna scrape by in February. You might be kind of stuffed to the gills with stuff to do and people to see and the projects that you have going. It just looks very, very active and busy. But there's also a really great softness to this whole reading. I think it's more of like just the environment is a little bit hectic and chaotic, but I'm not getting that there's any issue with where your energy is going. I think you have all of the right things in all of the right places, and where you're pouring yourself into makes sense for you at this time. And it's interesting because the Page of Cups, do you see all the little stars that are pouring into the cup? That's really sticking out in this reading. So, or rather, he's pulling them out of the cup. So it seems like there's just a lot of energy being given to the emotional side of things right now in your relationship. So being vulnerable is probably really important this month, or you're finding yourself around a lot of people who are really nurturing and caring and able to support you with whatever it is that you're building. Focus, and I've reminded a couple signs of this, but go back and focus on what was your intention for 2019? What did you want to make happen? I'm getting that you might want to go back to that and see what, now that we're in February, kind of where are you? What have you been really great at? What have you not been really great at? And what do you need to manifest? Because this is going to help you. Do you need support? Do you need new friends? Do you need new connections professionally? Are you needing to go out? And it's just about getting more information so that you can manifest the right things for where you're at as far as your goals and intentions go now. Because you don't want to forget what you set out to do this year just because we're moving through it. Even if it's like being more gentle with yourself, how have you been doing? I'm getting that this would be a good month to evaluate because you have the right energy and you can make amendments as you go. The Ace of Wands is showing, yeah, you can absolutely move forward with the things that are best, right, and true for you. So that's what I have here for the Ace of Wands. I'm actually going to clarify this, because it seems like there's a lot that the Ace of Wands is communicating and bringing to the table. Eight of Wands. See, it's all that energy, that forward movement, getting things done, making things happen. Progressing. This is also a highly sexual card. If you're down for that this month, or if that's something you're looking for as far as intimacy is concerned, this is technically, it can be an intimacy card. And so the Eight of Wands is like a full steam ahead, blasting forward, moving forward, and you really have a lot of nice, solid fire this month that you're able to work with. Now, we already talked about the Justice card and the Nine of Cups. Honestly, this is going to be a smooth, buttery month. Give or take a few, a few things that you might have a few too many plates spinning, things like that. But otherwise, this is really solid and you're able to get a lot of things done. So set your sights high, ask for more. This is going to be one of the months where it's like ask and you shall receive. Now you can't always dictate the timing, but you can certainly place your orders in February. Now the Seven of Wands is kind of like there's a whole bunch of noise that you're canceling out. It looks like you're just kind of sitting pretty where you're at, not really focused on anyone else's projections or other things that people have going on. This seems like it's good for you to stay self-focused aside from the relationships that you're pouring into this month, or that you're involved in any capacity, or that you are nurturing. So whatever that looks like for you, it seems like all of the other stuff you're really able to set aside. And I like seeing that for you. It's like you're not overly involved in the wrong places. And to clarify that, we have the devil. Yeah, so it might be tempting to get super involved with something that doesn't make sense for you energetically. I know that it's always like kind of hanging out and available for you to tap into, but this to me looks like you're just able to shield yourself well, because this is about like rising above. Okay, so you have all this and it's like you've kind of climbed out of the weeds. It seems like you have a stronger handle on other things that may have stunted you or pulled you back or dragged you down a little bit, and you're just able to move forward in a way that is best, right, and true for you. Now we also have the Three of Wands, building, constructing, kind of looking at what it is that you have in front of you and moving forward with what it is that you want to nurture. That's a big word that I'm getting for you. It's kind of like the things that you want to grow are growing in February. So I think you've already planted the seeds, you've done the work, you've tried everything out. Now you get to actually apply yourself. And the Three of Wands is how you make that happen. It's like the cultivation of all of those things you've been looking for or planting or focused on. Now we also have the King of Cups. Another relationship card. I think that being vulnerable and honest with your feelings is going to be important this month. Not shying away from that. You know, there's no reason to drown it out or set it aside. It's one of those things that you kind of want to move forward with and just go with the flow. Let's see. And then the Star. Nice. Okay. So the Star is like a very happily ever after. Things are really working. There's still more stuff going on though. It's just that the Star is showing everything's working in your favor. It's just that you're not going to see everything fully come to fruition this month. That's the one frustrating thing about the Star, is like, yes, this is green lights all the way through, and you still have to wait a little bit. So this is just a work and investment month, and then you're going to see things really start to pick up in pace, as if they're not already. But let's see what's on the bottom. We have the Nine of Swords. Okay, so a fear picture. That is kind of what's sitting underneath. You might be nervous, like maybe all of this stuff that you've built might collapse at any moment. I'm not getting that from this. It looks safe to proceed with all of the things that you want to and all of the areas that you're investing. But there's always that limiting belief, or that work you are still kind of pushing through. And I have the Three of Coins. Yeah, so you have to work on it. You have to really apply yourself in order to overcome that fear and work through it. Because it does not have to consume you, I promise. It's just one of those things that you have to recognize and then push against, and that's going to help you to see through. This month, you're getting a lot of data about how well things can go. And remember, I know that a lot of us are used to the other shoe dropping or waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's not real. Sometimes the other shoe doesn't drop. It just doesn't. Like, sometimes things really do go well and are progressing in a way that is really healthy, and it just seems like you kind of want to have more faith in what's going well and trust that can continue with your effort and with your investment. And that's really what's shining this month, is all of the places that you're giving your energy, because you have a lot of fire and water. You have wands and cups, and then the star as the tail end. And so this is just going to be a beautiful month of you really seeing some things start to percolate and be highlighted this month. So make sure you're noticing all of the good things that are happening, all of the ways that you're progressing. Celebrate every victory, no matter how small. You guys know I'm big on that. And let things kind of roll off your back as best as you can. And this is just going to be a really solid month for you. I'm going to pull some oracle cards just to give a little bit more context and clarity to the reading. Labyrinth. Okay, so I'm not sure how well you can see this, but you still have, some things might be confusing or not totally make sense this month. I don't think it's anything that you have to concern yourself with. It doesn't look like it's a big deal. It's just that you kind of want to stay out of your head. So if you're frustrated with something, if you're working on something, get out of body, get into your body, not out of body. What am I talking about? Okay, what I mean by that is like, go for a jog or do some meditating, find a way to ground yourself, support yourself, get into your body. That's the best way to get out of your head. If you're going out of your body, then all of your chi is going to get pushed up to your upper chakras, and then you can feel lightheaded, confused, and it's really hard to think. So what you want to do is evenly distribute that, and it's going to be a lot easier. This just looks like your head is really full, you're overthinking things, you can't focus, and so you can mitigate this by getting in movement, or any way that you can ground yourself is going to help. Let's pull some Sovereign Oracle, shall we? Archetype. Call forth ancient imagery, wear a divinely appointed mask, explore your personal myths. That last one I think is really important for you. Exploring your personal myths, your limiting beliefs. Like I said, especially with the fear or worrying that the other shoe is going to drop. That is definitely a personal myth. Personal myth, not real. It's like, you know, God isn't sitting upstairs saying, oh, you know what, things have gone really well. I think it's time for something to go wrong, balance everything out. No, that's not how this works at all. Things can continue going well, and you can affirm that things continue going well. And remember, the more good you look for, the more good you're going to find. The more negative stuff you look for, the more negative stuff you're going to find. It's about your lens, and it doesn't mean that there are no challenges, but it's about how you're framing them in your mind that is going to make all of the difference. And that's why you have to think in magic. Expansion. More of your higher self is calling for expression. Your capacity is growing. The horizon beckons. This reminds me of the Three of Wands that I pulled, because the Three of Wands really wants you to expand. It's like, you know what you want to build. I think you finally figured out, like, okay, this is something that's starting to make sense for me. Of course, that's highly personal. But at the end of the day, there's a lot more that you can do, and there's a lot more, really listen and trust yourself this month. I'm going to pull one more of these. These are feeling good for this reading, so I'm just going to roll with it. Connection. Explore the commonalities. Seek out your perfect fit collaborators and instigators. Focus less on how it will be done and more on who you would love to do it with. Okay, and this is Page of Cups all the way. It's highlighting that card. Who are you enjoying at this time? And remember, one of the best things that you can pay attention to is like, who feels good to be around? What is it that you're enjoying at this time? Who makes a lot of sense for you to fit with? Who are you able to be your whole self with? Those are important questions to ask because they're going to give you some really great answers about who you're spending time with and what it is that you're doing socially. Service. How are you being of service? This is also another way to help support you, ultimately. One of the people that I love to follow, he's a psychologist, but he actually talks about how you can actually improve your quality of life by taking on more responsibility. Actively choosing to take on more responsibility and to nurture something and take care of something is like medicine, because it gives you, it like stabilizes you through creating a purpose, and it can help you just get more grounded and stable until you kind of find your way. And so I think that focusing on service can actually support you if you're in a rut right now, or if you're kind of figuring things out, then find a way to artificially or directly take on more responsibility, and you're going to find that it just helps you out this month. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a 3-card pick. So you're welcome to ask a question. You can just ask card 1, 2, or 3. You can pick as few or as many cards as you'd like. Oh, sorry, I'm putting them down here. I won't be able to get them up if I set them in the center. Pause if you need more time, but just notice whichever card or cards you're wanting. Okay, let's go with number 1. The Fool, a new beginning, starting fresh. It's like you have the reset button this month. Like you really can start something new and have it go really well. Otherwise, this is like a new beginning. Maybe you've been progressing and something is really starting to pick up the pace this month, like a fresh, you know, this would be great if you're interested in relationships, new relationships, new opportunities, a new job, a new whatever. If you're putting in the work, it's going to pay off. Card number 2, 7 of Cups, having options. So you're probably going to have plenty of opportunities to adjust what you're doing, look at where you're putting your energy if you need to make any adjustments. I think you have it pretty dialed in, but you might need to evaluate just a smidge and make a few changes if something isn't quite aligned with you. And then card number 3, we have the Queen of Swords. This is you. Clear thinking. It's really important for you to just focus on what makes sense for you and do things your own way. That's going to be big this month. Just do things your own way. Cut out the noise, like I said with the 7 of Rods, and the Devil was the clarifier for that. It's kind of like you just have to silence the naysayers, you know, cancel that out. Push against your fear, and you have to work at it and just rise above to get clear. Keep it super, super clear. You don't want to cloud your mind with too many opinions. All right. So that is all that I have for you today, Libra. Thank you so very much for joining me today. And I hope you have a beautiful February. Don't forget, if you have not subscribed, go ahead and do that now. And until next time, I wish you nothing but the best. If you want to work with me one-on-one, I have tons of options. Don't forget, I'm just a good old psychic. So I do cold reads, I do tarot readings, I do all sorts of stuff. So you're welcome to check out all of my services. If you want love readings or sign-specific weeklies, those are on Patreon. Link is in the description box. And until next time, I will talk to you later. Have a good one, and I wish you nothing but the best. Bye-bye.